Well, the kings of chasing doing what they know best. Islamabad United are the best team in the side. Chasing, they've established that now time and again. Fahim Ashraf with the winning runs, jubilations in the camp. And look at that. Just look at the emotion in that dugout. It pretty much tells you a story. All smiles, Fahim Ashraf with the winning moments. And they're doing it time and time again for their side. There's a different individual that stands up every time. Mohammad Wasim Jr. with that fabulous last over. Shadab Khan, the winning captain. Hello and welcome to Pitside once again. And what a performance by Islamabad United. We spoke about how they've done it time and time again. They chased over 200 runs in that previous game. We've seen them do it again. Whether it's Azam Khan, whether it's Fahim Ashraf, everybody seems to be coming to the party just at the right time. And because we're talking about Fahim Ashraf, the special guest has joined us in the studio today on Pitside. Fahim, बल्कि राणा साहब, आई थिंक आपको सब राणा साहब कहते हैं, इसलिए मैं आपको राणा साहब कहूँगी. राणा साहब, आप क्या खा कर आए थे आज, चलें बता दें.
खाना तो वही आम रूटीन वाला ही खा रहे हैं जो हम रोज़ खा रहे हैं, लेकिन ये था कि आज मैंने ना बाकियों से थोड़ा सा चुरा के ना कौन सा नैंडोज की कौन जो है ना वो साइड पे रख ली थी.
बस देख लो, मेरा ख्याल है फिर यही राज होगा.
चोरी राज जो ना मुझे रास आ गई है.
कुछ ज़्यादा ही रास आ गई, कुछ ज़्यादा ही रास आ गई है. 18 रन आखिरी ओवर में, आसान नहीं होता. और उस वक्त एक पॉइंट पे लग रहा था कि अच्छा मुल्तान सुल्तान्स के पास, लेकिन ये क्या है, ये इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड का सेल्फ बिलीफ है. No matter what the target is, there seems to be कि एक सेल्फ बिलीफ जिसकी मैं बात करूँ, कॉन्फिडेंस, यही चीज़ है.
जी बिल्कुल, सेल्फ बिलीव है. जितनी हमारे मैनेजमेंट है, जितने प्लेयर हैं, सबको एक दूसरे पे इतना बिलीव है कि कोई भी सिचुएशन हो, सिर्फ यही बात करते हैं कि तूने पहले किया हुआ है, तू करेगा. सिर्फ ये चीज़ है कि जो इंसान को मैं कहता हूँ हमारी जो टीम को ना नीचे वाले लेवल से नेक्स्ट लेवल पे ले जाती है. तो ये जो है ना, ये सबसे अच्छी चीज़ है. कोई भी आएगा, चाहे वो 10th नंबर का आए, 11th नंबर का आए, यही चीज़ होती है कि आपने पहले किया, आप करोगे.
वकार भाई, आपने फ़हीम के साथ ऑब्वियसली बड़ा टाइम भी बताया है, आपने इसका करियर की प्रोग्रेशन भी देखी है. आपको इस फ़हीम की इनिंग्स के बारे में क्या चीज़ अच्छी लगी आज?
देखिए, मेरा ऑलवेज बिलीव था कि फ़हीम इज़ अ वेरी टैलेंटेड फास्ट बॉलर एज वेल एज अ वेरी वेरी फाइन बैट्समैन. अनफॉर्चुनेटली कुछ इंजरियाँ ने कहते ना पल्ला नहीं छोड़ा कुछ अरसा, और फिर फॉर्म भी कई दफ़ा होती है. बट टेस्ट मैचेस में हमने देखा कि ही इज़ बीन आउटस्टैंडिंग और जिस तरह की आज की इनिंग्स थी, दैट रियली गिव हिम रीबर्थ जैसे होता है ना इसके करियर का. आई एम श्योर सेलेक्टर सब लोग इस पे नज़र रखेंगे. और जिस तरीके से खेले, जिस तरह से बॉलिंग भी की, आई थॉट इज बॉलिंग हैज़ इम्प्रूव्ड अ लॉट. और ओवरऑल इस्लामाबाद की क्या बात है, आई मीन क्या दे आर जस्ट अ वंडरफुल साइड. मुल्तान सुल्तान नो डाउट हार्ट ब्रोकन ज़रूर हुई है, लेकिन इस तरह की इनिंग अगर कोई बंदा खेल दे तो आई डोंट थिंक माइंड करना चाहिए, क्योंकि दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ इनिंग फ्रॉम नोवेयर. एक टाइम पे जब आखिरी 2 ओवरों में 30 रन चाहिए थे और 8वीं विकेट भी गिर गई थी, तो यू वर थिंकिंग के गेम ओवर. बट दिस जेंटलमैन, वी ऑल नो दैट इज द टैलेंट ही पोजेसेस.
अच्छा, ये बताएं कि अभी एक्चुअली पिछले मैच में भी आपकी बड़ी अच्छी कंट्रीब्यूशन थी, तो लग रहा है बल्ले पे आ रही है बॉल, बहुत अच्छी तरह परफॉर्मेंस भी आ रही है. बट इससे पहले मैं आपसे पूछ रही थी कि ये सेल्फ बिलीफ और कॉन्फिडेंस कहाँ से आता है. तो ये सेल्फ बिलीफ कॉन्फिडेंस शादाब खान देता है, अजहर महमूद देता है, सईद अजमल देता है. आप मतलब यू हैव सो मेनी लेजेंड्स. सईद अजमल भी है, अजहर महमूद भी है, फिर शादाब एज योर कैप्टन. यू हैव सो मेनी प्लेयर्स इन योर साइड. कहाँ से आता है?
देखें जी, ये सारे तो देते ही देते हैं, लेकिन मैं कहता हूँ कि जो मेन हमारे हैं ना, जो हमारी मैनेजमेंट की टीम है ना, वो जो स्पेशली रात को जो बैठते हैं ना, वो रात को भी ऐसी बातें करते हैं कि राणा तू ही है, रोमी भैया, रोमी तू ही है. कोई भी रात को उनके पास बैठ गया ना, उनका रात को 4 बजे, सुबह 4 बजे मैसेज आएगा, राणा आई लव यू. ऐसे मैसेज आते हैं कि मतलब वो सिर्फ मोटिवेट करते हैं. तो मैं कहता हूँ कि इसी वजह से जो हमारी टीम है ना, एक तो सबके साथ एक दूसरे के साथ इतनी दोस्ती बनी हुई है. दोस्ती की वजह से एक दूसरे की फिर फिक्र भी होती है कि यार अगर मेरा दोस्त है ना शदाब कप्तान, अगर उसको मार पड़ेगी या उसको मैं कुछ हम देखते हैं ना, तो हमारी कोशिश होती है कि नहीं भाई, इसके लिए कुछ करके दिखाएं अपनी पिटी, क्योंकि सारे हमारे दोस्त हैं. तो दोस्तों के लिए फिर इंसान का होता है कि यार कुछ करें, कुछ भी करके किसी ना किसी तरीके से कुछ इसका ना वे आउट निकालें. तो मैं कहता हूँ ये सबसे अच्छी चीज़ है. इस्लामाबाद की सारे दोस्त हैं, सारे आपस में मजाक करते हैं. उससे ये है कि एक दूसरे के
जुगते मारते हैं,
जुगते हैं तो बहुत मारते हैं.
झुकते तो वो
जुत्तों के बिना तो काम नहीं ना चलता फिर।
राणा साहब हो और झुकते ना हो, ये कैसे हो सकता है? अच्छा, आपकी 18 रन्स, बट उसमें से एक जो शॉट आपकी स्टैंड आउट कर रही थी, वो जो एक रैम शॉट थी, वो क्या थी? वो आप खुद ही एक्सप्लेन करें, बल्कि हम आपको दिखा भी देते हैं एक दफा, बिकॉज इट वाज क्वाइट एन इनक्रेडिबल शॉट, बिल्कुल आउटसाइड ऑफ स्टंप के बाहर से। ये कहाँ से आपने उठाई और कहाँ से मारी?
देखिए जी, वही जो बात के सेल्फ बिलीव, और मैं कहता हूँ कि ये ना वे आउट निकालने के लिए ना एक टाइप की कहते हैं हाजिरी हुई है। हाजिरी हुई थी कि नहीं भाई कुछ ना कुछ करना है, अगर नहीं इधर तो कुछ इसका वे आउट निकालना किसी तरीके से, तो हाजिरी हुई थी, वो मारी है, नसीब में थी लगी।
लेकिन प्री मेडिटेटेड थी, मतलब पहले से सोचा हुआ था?
सोचा तो था, डेफिनेटली सोचेंगे तो खेलेंगे ना वैसा। हाजिरी हुई है, सोचा है, चलो चलते हैं फिर इसकी तरफ।
अच्छा, पहले से सोचा था। वकार भाई, ये आसान नहीं होती ये उस मोमेंट में हैविंग दैट प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड कि इस तरह की कोई शॉट खेल सके, तो आपको उस वक्त आपके क्या इमोशंस थे? यू वर ऑन कमेंट्री, यू नो, व्हाट डिड यू थिंक?
मैंने बड़ी क्रिकेट देखी भी है, खेली भी है, कोचिंग भी की है, सब कुछ करके देखा है। दिस वाज समथिंग वेरी यूनिक। मैंने ऐसी शॉट नहीं देखी, क्योंकि उससे पिछला गेंद चौका, थोड़ा सा लक फेवर की, अंदर का एज लगा और फाइन लेग पे चौका चला गया। आई थिंक राणा साहब वही शॉट खेलने गए थे, स्टार्ट ऑफ उसी से किया, बट देन ही सॉ कि गेंद थोड़ा दूर है, and to change his decision at the last second, that is some doing, a real quality, कि आप खेलने यूँ जा रहे हैं and suddenly you saw कि ये बॉल पेस पे है और थोड़ा दूर है और फुल टॉस है, to hit a 6 on that, 4 I can still say that कि अच्छा चौका लग गया, शायद एज लग जाता, but right from the middle of the bat and then he scooped it up, he made sure कि goes in the air, और डिस्टेंस था 60 odd meters था, and it just went very very quickly, and that was some shot. मैंने क्रिकेट में बहुत कम दफ़ा देखा है इतनी अच्छी और इतनी कंट्रोल्ड शॉट।
Oh, definitely, and executed so well. 46 runs were scored off the last 3 overs, and of course Fahim Ashraf had a huge role to play in that, which is why he's also our master blaster for today.
फ़हीम अशरफ ने बॉलिंग तो अच्छी की थी, लेकिन बैटिंग यू नो पिछले मैच से ऐसे लग रहा था कि पुराना जो रिदम है, उसकी जो बॉल का फ्लो है, ऑलमोस्ट अंपायर को भी ले चले थे यहाँ पर, और ये थोड़ा सा लक फेवर की। और ये शॉट, आई कैन वॉच दिस शॉट अगेन एंड अगेन, इट वॉज वंडरफुल। एट द एंड 50 रन भी कंप्लीट किए। यहाँ पे पोलार्ड थे, लेकिन पोलार्ड भी नहीं रोक सके। उसके बाद 1 रन चाहिए था, वो जहाँ मर्जी खेल लेते। ग्रेट इनिंग्स, नो डाउट।
अच्छा, ये बताएं कि इतनी वेरिड शॉट्स आपने खेली आखिरी ओवर पूरी इनिंग्स में, बट आपकी पर्सनल फेवरेट कौन सी थी? कोई ऐसी जो आपने एंजॉय की हो?
वही है जिस पे हाजिरी हुई थी मुझे।
वही हुई थी जिस पे हाजिरी हुई थी। ये हाजिरी क्या है वकार भाई?
मुझे तो नहीं पता। ये
हाजिरी यही है ना कि कोई वे आउट निकालना है, ये पहले नहीं मारते, नहीं भाई आज मारनी है, जो मर्जी है, वे आउट निकालना है, मैच जीतने जाना है, तो हाजिरी हुई है कि नहीं इसी पे रह, ये मारनी है, लगेगी तो मारी है, फिर ये हाजिरी है।
मतलब वो कॉन्फिडेंस
जिन्ना वाली हाजिरी नहीं है।
जिन्नो वाली
जेड़े इलाके चो आया उधर जिन्ना वाली भी हाजिरी होती है।
फूल नगर चले। फूल नगर ने इतना बड़ा हमें टैलेंट दिया है फ़हीम अशरफ के फॉर्म में। थैंक यू सो मच। एक सवाल
आखिरी फॉर अ सेकंड, मैं जस्ट वांट टू नो कि हाउ इज इंजरीज कमिंग अप, क्योंकि ये एक बड़ा ज़रूरी है पता करना, क्योंकि बॉलिंग मुझे लग रहा है कि वापस रिदम आ रहा है, तो अभी इंजरी के क्या हालात हैं? यू फुली फिट और यू स्टिल थिंक है जी मैं अभी और भी पुश कर सकता हूँ?
देखें जी, मैं विकी भाई आपके साथ तो आपके अंडर काफ़ी क्रिकेट खेली है। कोशिश यही होती है कि अपने आप को दिन ब दिन जितना बेहतर कर सकते हैं। अभी मेरी कोशिश यही है कि बैक टू बैक मैचेस भी आते हैं, तो कोशिश यही होती है कि रिकवरी की जाए, क्योंकि रिकवरी अगर अच्छी होगी फिर इंजरीज के चांसेस कम है। तो कोशिश अब यही है कि अगर मैच खेल रहे हैं, जान पूरी लगा रहे हैं बैटिंग में, बॉलिंग में, फील्डिंग में भी, तो उसकी रिकवरी की जाए। तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अभी तो काफ़ी बेहतर है। इंजरीज कोई ऐसी इंजरीज, नीज
का, शोल्डर का, एल्बो का, सारे देख लिए तो सारा कुछ ठीक है।
हाँ जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह सब ठीक है।
सारे इंजन काम कर रहे हैं, सारे इंजन गाड़ी का, सारे पुर्जे जो है वो सब काम कर रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल
चलती हुई गाड़ी
बिल्कुल सही चल रही है।
चले, हम उम्मीद यही करते हैं कि ये गाड़ी चलती रहे। थैंक यू सो मच फ़हीम फॉर जॉइनिंग अस, एंड व्हाट अ ब्रिलियंट परफॉर्मेंस बाय फ़हीम अशरफ। वी सॉ दैट कंट्रीब्यूशन फ्रॉम हिम in that last game, but today it topped it off because you know, it was taking his team over the line, and the way they did it, a visual treat for the fans here in Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. On that note, we'll take a short break and we'll be back just in a bit, and we're joined by a new guest. Back on the pitch side show, and what a performance by Islamabad United. We had Fahim Ashraf just before the break talk about his innings, that specific ramp shot as well, which was perhaps shot of the day. Now I've been joined by Danny Morrison to talk about the success of Islamabad United as a side. I mean, Danny, there was a time when it seemed like Multan Sultan had things very much under control, and then it was the Fahim Ashraf show.
It was. We talked on air at the time that there was a couple of wickets in the 90s, and that for me changed the state of the game and the contest, because all of a sudden someone had to do something, and it turned out to be a little bit of Shudder, the skipper, and then you had Fahim Ashraf come in and turn things around. So, you know, they pick well. That's what I like about it. And Dooley and I were on with Wakar, and they recruit well. And I think when you look at it, the way we talked about stats and records, these guys play that brand of cricket. So they play attacking cricket. They keep coming at you, and they back themselves. And I think on these surfaces, Zany, you can produce that sort of cricket and back yourself. And look at the shots that were played tonight. Poof, impressive.
Yeah, and you've got to have the players to be able to do that as well. Islamabad United has so many options to choose from, and that's why they are one of the most successful chasing sides in the HPL PSL. Let's have a look at the stat attack to see what kind of records they've made today. Well, these are all the successful run chases of Islamabad United, and 206, 202 against Karachi Kings. This was very much a couple of days back against Karachi Kings, and then today it's 206 against Multan Sultans. And it seems like the venue seems to be Rawalpindi on both the occasions. I mean, Wakar, is it about the venue? Is it about Islamabad United's ability to chase down big totals? What is it?
Bit of both, I feel. It's a home ground for them, and the crowd support, and remember Shadab saying at the toss that he's played all his cricket here and he knows this pitch really well, and he feels that you know, this is a chasing ground. It's a smallish ground when you look at the other grounds, and you know, they back themselves. They back deep. They have got batsmen who can win games from any sort of situation, and they've proved it once again. They're a wonderful side. I mean, they're a dangerous side. 2 times champion already back in the days, but can they just do it again? It's going to be a tough one. There's other teams are playing really well, so they are a fine side. You know, one must say that.
They are a fine side, and it seems like they have this all-out aggressive strategy, which we've seen from them from year one, actually, in the HPL PSL. They seem to be backing themselves to chase any kind of targets down, and they've got the team in place to be doing that. That was the stat attack for you. Well, we're talking about Islamabad United. We've said that it's pretty much the Fahim Ashraf show today. 18 runs in those 6 balls. It was a magnificent innings, which is why he's also our player of the match.
Well, you mentioned the 18. In fact, they did it with a ball to spare. But this innings, again, someone had to do it. Someone had to turn it around. And you had a bit of Asif Ali with them briefly, and then you had Muhammad Wasim Jr. But that for me, I love that too. Almost like he said, look, I'm going to do that, and I'll show you this one as well. So I've got the little scoop outside off stump, and downtown, this over the top of Kyron Pollard, and hey, 1 ball to spare.
I mean, you saw that they were trying to bowl those wide Yorkers and trying different things, but he just had that ability to be hitting everything and hitting everything for a boundary.
Yeah, I think kudos to, we were on air, we were chatting at the end, and then Simon Dool said, look, I'm not happy with this field, and rightly so. You had to have a 3rd man back. If you're going to bowl pace on, Zany, you have to have that protection, particularly where he scooped it to 3rd man. If you don't quite get that right, you've got protection. And do you want your fine leg back, given that there is a bit of pace on? And so they missed a trick there, Multan. They'll be a bit annoyed. The bowler has to take responsibility, sure. And the skipper, you know, you often have these guys come together and they have these mid-wicket conferences, and where do you want to field what are you trying to bowl? Okay, what are we trying to do here? Well, you got to have the field set accordingly with what you're trying to execute and bowl. And so I think they did miss a trick there a bit.
Perhaps did miss a trick, but 18 runs were required in that last over. And it was quite the finish for Islamabad United. Fahim Ashraf taking them over the line, which is why it's also a switched on moment of the day.
Yeah, 18 of the last over, and when you don't really have too much support from the other end, and he really made the most of it. He hit beautiful straight shots, and that to finish it off with a beauty over Pollard.
I mean, we had Nick Knight talk about this, Vakar Bhai, the difference at the end was the death bowling that we saw towards the end of the innings by Mohammad Wasim Jr. and some of the other guys, because they had, 32 runs in the last 4 overs. So, I mean, do you think that perhaps was the difference for you as well, from a bowler's point of view?
Look, I know we're praising Fahim Ashraf, we're praising the other batters. Shadab played really well. But I tell you, the biggest difference was those last 4 overs. So 16th over went for 30. And we thought, oh, that is going to be 220, 230 maybe, because they had big boys out there on the pitch. So those 4 overs where they only gave away 32 and they kept on picking wickets also. They kept them intact and not leak too many runs. And I think that gave them the belief that, that they can really win this game. 205, 225, big difference, those 20 runs difference. I think, credit should be given to the bowlers also, especially Wasim. I thought he bowled beautifully. Right at the end, he went for runs, Ruman Reis went for runs, but those last 4 overs really gave them the momentum.
And Wasim seems to be bowling really well at the death. Just generally, we see all his tricks come out in that last over. Remember, he was the replacement for Hassan Ali, who's struggling with the nickel. Thank you so much, Vakar Bhai, for your time.
You're welcome.
And your
lovely day. Lovely evening.
Lovely evening. A bit chilly, to be honest, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be joined by a new guest. Stunning win by Islamabad United. They seem to have mastered the art of chasing. Give them a 202, give them a 205, and they seem to have the boys to take them over the line. Today was no different. Every day there's a new guy. Azam Khan in the previous game, Fahim Ashraf in this one. The real question is, what's a good enough total for this side? And I'm going to ask this question to Dooley, who joins me in the studio. Dooley, this side has a scary batting lineup.
Yeah, and they keep going, and I think that's one of the keys. When they looked at their options at auction time and the draft time, they wanted players who could bat and bowl. They want 3-dimensional cricketers, guys who can field as well. Mohammad Wasim, we saw Fahim tonight. They bat deep, and they play a certain style of cricket that just says, we will go, and we will go hard, and we'll come at you, and we'll keep coming right to about number 9. And I think that's the key for them. They have this belief, and they believe that whatever they have to chase, they are capable of chasing it. And like you said just now, Z, that it's different players time and time again, and that's the sign of a good team, a championship type team.
What about their bowling? I mean, are you content with their bowling? They have conceded 200 runs twice, but then the other side is that, they have boys who can chase it down as well.
They do, and let's be fair, the 22 yards here is pretty impressive. And I think we were chatting about this off air at times, Dooley and I, and Wakar as well, that if you got a bag of tricks, you've got to try and deliver it well. If you can execute that slower ball, let's say about 90% of the time, well, you've got to show that. On these pitches, Zany, man, you're going to disappear. And we've also said this boundary is not the biggest going around. So it is tough for the bowlers. And also, Dooley and Wakar mentioned, they've got the arsenal and the bowlers, and they communicate well. Hassan Ali wasn't playing today. It was Mohammad Wasim. And the communication between the players and chatting out there in the middle is so key. And as Dooley also said, they've got a great squad. And I think they've got a good coaching staff. So hats off to the coaching staff too that get involved. They do. Azam Mahmood and the gang, all these different bowlers that get involved. James Franklin's here. They've got some good coaches.
I think it also showed tonight that you cannot afford to eat up deliveries in the early part. I mean, that's Multan. I mean, I've said this about them before. Rizwan's 100 It was almost a match-losing 100. And it wasn't because of the second half. The second half of it was brilliant, but he ate up a lot of deliveries at the start. Now, you can increase your strike rate. You can increase it from 120 to 180, and he did that, but you cannot get back the balls you've lost early on in the innings. And that's one of the keys. So when you've got Pollard and the likes of him and David, you know, he was brilliant tonight, but Miller, those guys sitting in the dugout waiting time and time again, you're chewing up deliveries. And although Shan Masood's innings will look good on paper because his strike rate was okay at 150, he chewed up deliveries at the start. It was a 220, 230 pitch. I think that's where it started.
And that's where Islamabad United is perhaps going to look back, because the last 4 overs only went for 32 runs. Mohammad Wasim Jr. took a couple of wickets in that last over, so they seem to have everything sorted. Multan Sultans falling short. Let's have a look at their fall of wickets for today.
Yeah, look at the fall of wickets, and the first one was a good catch actually. Azam Khan, he hasn't always been at his best behind the stumps through the tournament, but that was a really good catch. Riley Rousseau just mistiming one. Been off the boil a little bit since that big innings as soon as he arrived off the plane up in Multan. This one just clothed out to deep mid-wicket. In the end, Shan was undone by a shortish delivery. Tim David was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He just couldn't quite get underneath that one enough to get it over the top of long off. And then Miller, again, another one that just got clothed a little bit to a shortish extra cover.
Just on what Dooley just mentioned about that combination at the top, do you think perhaps they could change things around a little bit? Rizwan and Shan Masood at the top, they have plenty of options in their batting order. They've got guys who can do a job. But do you think perhaps that could be one of the things that they could look at? Or are they set in their ways?
They are to a degree, and Dooley's touched on it in terms of you've got players that are T20 specialists or white ball specialists. And Shan Masood, he's trying to manufacture himself out of being a test match mode or 50-over cricketer, really. Today, I thought, again, he, as Dooley said, ate up a lot of balls. Yeah, he ended up with a strike rate of 150, but needed to really be striking at 180, 190 on this surface. So, in answer to your question, I mean, Rizzy likes batting with Shan, and there is a good understanding there. How do you break that up? It's a left-hand, right-hand combination, which is a good sign as well, but they're going to have to score quicker. Something's got to be done.
Problem is, it's too late now. It's too late now. That's their issue. They've left it too late. They shouldn't have played Shan today, and Kushdil should have opened, and Riley Rousseau at 3, and then you're away laughing.
They left Kushdil out.
They left Kushdil out, you see. And that's the way I would have gone. I would have gone Kushdil to the top, or even Riley Rousseau to the top, and still play Kushdil down in the middle lower order. Just move everybody. As soon as Tim David arrived, just move everybody up one and move Shan on. But now that it's 70 today, can't drop him.
Yeah, it is perhaps too late on their part, but if you look at Multan Sultans and their performance so far, there's been one star performer for them. We're talking about none other than Ehsanullah, who features in our fastest delivery of the day. Well, he got the big wicket of Shadab Khan, and he's got the ability to bring it back in. He's obviously got the height to get that bounce, and more importantly, the pace. 150. If you can clock 150, then definitely you've got that as your major weapon. Not to forget that celebration in the end. Quite special. Right, we'll have a cup of tea. We'll take a short breather, but we'll be back just in a bit. Well, there were a couple of catches that were dropped in that first game, but pretty good fielding under lights today. Azam Khan took a blinder. Let's have a look at the safe hands.
Yeah, good one behind, little edge. Shortish ball from Shadab. It was the wicket of Rizwan. He said he hasn't always been at his best through the tournament with the gloves, Azam Khan. Brilliant with the bat, but that is a good, comfortable catch behind the stumps, pouches it and gets rid of a big wicket.
Well, one thing is for sure, that Islamabad fans are quite lucky because they've witnessed 3 wins by the home side. They've won the last 3 games and it's been a visual treat for them every time. Let's have a look at what the fans have to say about today's encounter.
मेरा नाम सुजेद खान है और मैं एबटाबाद से मुल्तान सुल्तान को सपोर्ट करने के लिए यहाँ आज पिंडी स्टेडियम में आया हूँ और बहुत ही पुरजोश किस्म का क्राउड था, जोशीला क्राउड था। मैच देखने का बहुत ज़्यादा मज़ा आया, बहुत फाइटिंग किस्म का मैच हुआ।
पहले तो मैं ये कहूँगा, जिस तरह शादाब खान कप्तान जो टॉस जीतकर उनको बैटिंग दी ना, तो उन्होंने ये कहा कि हमारा होम ग्राउंड है और जितना भी मुझे पता है इसका जितना भी टारगेट देंगे इंशाल्लाह हम चेस करेंगे। मुल्तान की टीम में देखा जाए तो बैट्समैन काफ़ी अच्छे हैं, हमारा बैटिंग ऑर्डर काफ़ी अच्छा है, लेकिन जो हमारी बॉलिंग है उसके ऊपर थोड़ा फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है। एहसानुल्लाह नो डाउट बहुत अच्छी बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं, लेकिन किधर ना किधर बहुत एक्स्ट्रा रन लीक करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से एक्स्ट्रा रन की वजह से इनको बहुत एडवांटेज हुआ।
मैं आजम खान से बहुत उम्मीदें थी, लेकिन वो जल्दी आउट हो गया और उसके बाद फ़हीम अशरफ ने आकर इसको संभाला और खूब आगे लेकर गया, मैच को टाई किया और फिर उसी को चेस किया।
ये मैसेज उन सब लोगों के लिए जो मैच छोड़ के जा चुके थे और डिसअपॉइंट हो गए थे, ये उन सब के लिए मैसेज है कि इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड जो है एक पॉजिटिव कमबैक के साथ वापस आती है और फाइट बैक करती है और आगे भी आप इनके इस तरह के मैचेस देखेंगे।
The audience has become rather intelligent with their comments. Got to say that they're pretty apt in terms of their analysis of the game, but there was plenty of masala in today's game as well. Let's have a look at the masaladar moments of the day.
Well, as an umpire, you've got to have your wits about you. And Rashid Riaz, man, heart in the mouth. Oh, that would have clocked him right in the face. And I tell you, that is impressive to get out of the way of that in a split second. I was worried from there, and he just said, yeah, too easy.
All right, thank you, Kiwis. Both the Kiwis in the house, but it's time to go home.
Yes! On the bed.
All smiles in the studio, but tomorrow is the big one. Remember, tomorrow is the big one because we've got a women's game on tomorrow, and it's going to be, it's historic for Pakistan cricket as well. We're all pretty excited here for that one. And we'll also have a look at what we've got for tomorrow because it's 2 games actually, not just 1. First up will be the women's game, and then that'll be followed by Peshawar Zalmi taking on Quetta Gladiators. Remember, Quetta Gladiators are not exactly out of the equation. Mathematically, there is a chance, although a slim chance. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's game. We certainly did. It was an absolute thriller. Fahim Ashraf entertaining the crowds. Islamabad United really giving the crowd a visual treat, like I said. And for us now, it's time to head home, but we'll leave you with some super moments.
जितना भी हो मैच नहीं कर पाएगा। किसी से कम नहीं प्यारे, हर गेम को उठा दे, नेक्स्ट लेवल। शहजादे मैदान तो सजाओ, सेल्फीज भी लो, व्लॉग्स भी बनाओ, दुनिया को दिखाओ, जश्न मनाओ, आगे पीछे वालों को भी लेकर आओ। ये शहजादे हैं हमारे और हम हैं इनकी शान, देखेगा।